Alright, I'm going to be making eyes for this little fella, and since a few of you liked my other videos, I figured I'd go ahead and show you how I make my cartoony eyes. Now, what I use is, I use markers, some paper, the X-Acto knife thing, pen, my glue sticks, craft foam, which is like the really thin foam, and then sheer fabric where you can like see through it. Alright, in one of my videos in the comment sections you guys asked like what type of stuff I use or something like that, and I used these glue sticks there, or like where I got my materials. These glue sticks are like, I think it's like $5-6 for a pack of 100, and that was like the cheapest I found that like fit my glue gun. It's just the little one my grandma gave me. And this is, I'm using this craft foam I got from Hobby Lobby. It's like a thicker, it's a little bit thicker than the other, like the ones that you can buy at Walmart. But it's only, this one's 99¢, and they had like different thickness. They had like a one that was like a whole dollar. It was a lot thicker. But just this floppy craft foam. It's this brand in case you don't live here in the United States and you need to find, and you just absolutely want to find this one. And I used Sharpie markers, and I just open up each one. I like line them up in the order that I need the color to go relatively on my eyeball, because this is the eye that I'm making. And then I'll open each one and mark it so I can see what it actually looks like. And then I'll just go through and pick which ones I actually want and take it out of the line. And then, you know, if they're crazy, like this one here is this color, even though it's probably supposed to look kind of like these, I'll probably put this one somewhere else in the order among these, and I'll take out the ones I don't want. Just a regular pen. This is an X-Acto knife. I'm not sure what brand it is. I just know it's sharp. But I'll post a picture of it or something if I find a picture of one online. Scissors. Crappy scissors. And that's about it on the I also use sheer fabric. And whenever I make my eyes, I'll either put the iris on the not upholstery foam, the craft foam, or I'll put, where'd it go? I have one on here already drawn. I'll sometimes draw the iris on to the fabric directly, so that way there'll be a bigger area for you to be able to see out of. Like there's one eye that I started and I didn't finish because that one was ugly. I mean, it's alright, I might use it on something. Anyways. Yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to take like a regular piece of paper, and I'm going to take the hole where the eye is. I'm just going to lay it. I'm going to take my hand and put it flat against the hole of the eye, so that way it won't be warped or anything. I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit of warping, but I had issues before. And then I'll take my pen and I'll just go around the edge of the outside of the eye, because that's where I want the biggest, and that's where it's gonna, you know, go in. And just make a rough sketch of the eye. Pretty good. Alright. And if you feel like the eyes are different sizes or anything, like if you feel like, oh, I messed up, I made this one a little bit too big, always trace the bigger one, because you can always, you know, make the bigger one fit in the smaller area. But it's harder to, you know, fix the mistake trying to get the smaller eye to, like, cover up the holes. if the smaller eye is in the bigger socket. Alright, so now I've got my basic shape of my eyeball. And so what I'll do is I'll also get this out of my way. And I don't know if you can see. I'll take the black marker so you can see my lines. I'll make it dark. And now I'm going to draw my eyeball. And like this is the inner corner here. This is the outer corner. And so I want my eye fairly closer to the inner corner. And I want it pretty big, because even though you're thinking, oh, that's not a whole lot of white space for the eyeball, there's still going to be like sides added, so that way we're going to try and give it like a 3D look. So I'm going to try and make it fairly big. I'll make it a little bit bigger. You know what, I'm going to also do both versions of my eyes just to see how well this will look, because I always, if it's going to look good with just a fabric for the iris, I'd rather do that because it's just a lot better for vision wise. I want this to be round, and there. So if I were to do this on the foam first, I would just cut out this middle piece right here. But since I'm going to try and do the iris with the fabric too, I'm going to cut all the way to this outer dark line. And the thinner line is where the white foam is going to be. And also keep in mind that this extra line right here this will be like the outer edge of the eyeball, so that way it'll be like 3D or whatever. So then I'm going to cut it out and trace it onto the paper again, so I'll have two to cut out. Alright, I'm going to take my red pen and I'm going to do this for the inner eye, so I can just remember that that's the inner corner. But I'm going to trace this onto the foam, just the whole shape, because I'm not going to cut this out yet, because first I'm going to try and see how it looks on my fabric. Alright, I already messed up. I was supposed to draw the eye like this, not like this, because whenever the eye tilts down, this will be cut off, because we'll still have like a ridge right here, so that whenever someone's looking down, it'll look like they're looking up. So whenever you draw it, if you're going to make box eyes, you need to draw the whole iris and the whole pupil on the flat part of your eyeball. Then cut it out. Alright, so I have the iris and the pupil cut out now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace it on my chiffon, because I have my, sheer chiffon fabric here, and I'm going to lay it down on top of my notebook that does not have important drawings underneath it, because this might bleed through the paper as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it straight, And I'm just going to get everything from underneath it first. I'm going to trace the iris onto here, and I'm going to start coloring it in accordingly. Alright, you cannot see. Alright. I'm going to trace the iris twice on here, and I'm going to just fill all of the inside of the iris with the color. Alright, so what I've done is I've traced the eyeball with my gradient colors. Now what I'm going to do is just fill in the whole thing and blend it as I go with each color until I go from pink to the light blue. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to make sure that it's underneath this notebook. Oh my gosh, okay, never mind, that's alright. Preferably make sure that there's nothing important underneath, just in case it bleeds to the paper too. Because what you're going to do is you're going to just take the sheet of paper, the sheet of fabric, and paint it. Or well, not paint it, but like, just take the marker and lightly, brush over top of the fabric. And you'll want to pull the fabric tight so it doesn't, move around on you. And then you're trying to paint it. And it's okay if you go outside the lines as long as you just get all the inside. Because you can never be too big. Color this one a little more. Right. Now I go to my next lightest color. I'm just gonna brush. Oh, this is really dark. Alright. Brush over that a little bit. Dang it. There. Alright. And now we've got it's a little bit blended to the bottom a little bit, and we're going to go back and go over it darker a little bit to make it blend better. Alright, so I have the pupil here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to not exactly trace it because I don't want it to be too thick or too big, but I want to just put a dot at the top and the sides and the bottom of each eye, and then I'll draw it myself and color it in. And you don't want to go too dark, because you want to be able to fix it if you mess up. You want to try and like hold your fabric still, because you don't want it to move on you. And if you're not confident in your ability to draw the same thing twice, you can always just find your iris where you cut this from and then color just the inside of the iris. Just make sure that it does not move and that you're in the exact same place on the other eye. Now when this stuff gets wet, like if it's too damp, with ink, it'll try to bleed a little bit. So try not to do like too much at a time. Like I just lightly color over top of the first layer. Well, not the first layer, but I just try to lightly color over top of this once, and then just kind of wait for it to dry. I mean, it's a marker, so it's not going to take forever. But if I can touch it and it not leave black like it did just now, then it's time to color it again. So this is what they look like so far. Alright, see? This finger's clean, this one's not. So I'll go over it one more time. The edges, and then color it in. Alright. This one's a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna draw this one a little bit fatter. Alright. Now they're relatively the same. This one's fatter at the top, this one's wrong. There. Alright. And you'll notice this side is a little bit lighter than this side. And I kinda like it better that way. So I'm gonna make this be the outside part of the eye, and this will be towards the inside. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the hot glue gun, let it get heated up, and then we're going to cut out our eyeballs that we traced. Although, I traced the whole thing. I didn't cut this out before I traced it. Let me show you. I went ahead and traced my eyes onto my phone. And I got the little thing for the inner corner because this is going to be on the inside of the eye. This will not be on the outside. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm going to find my iris, because here it is. Never mind, I found it just now. I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it where I need it to be on my eyeballs, and then I'm going to cut that out. But I'm not going to cut the pupil out too. It's going to be like the whole shape. And then we'll place this side down over top of the lighter side of the fabric. We're going to hot glue it. Alright, I've got these traced out, and now I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, which is the same way I cut the main piece out, and I'm going to cut this out and place it, you know, this side that doesn't have the X down on my eyes. So I'm just going to take the X-Acto knife, and you can use scissors if you are confident and that they won't like make the edges kind of ugly. But I just use this because it's, you know, super sharp and precise. Anywhere that's left, you can just go back over it. Alright, see, it's a very nice crisp edge. And you're going to want to like leave the other eye intact, just so you can keep up with which piece goes with which eye. Alright, so I'm going to put the pieces back on here. Well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this and have, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to let this flat. Just like this, with the X for the inner side, the inner corner pointing upwards at me. And then I'm going to find which side was the lighter side that I liked. This side. I'm going to lay this directly on top of it and center it over top of the eyeball. And I'm going to get it straight. We don't want any crooked eyes. And also look at the angle that the eyes are sitting. Like if they're straight across the bottom, then go ahead and let the pupil be straight up and down from there. But if they're kind of like the bottom of the eyes kind of slanting like this, you want to make sure that, you know, you tilt the pupil accordingly so you don't have eyes that are like Alright, put this back up there. And his eyes are kind of like this. Alright, now that I've got it where I want it, I'm going to take the hot glue gun and I'm just going to press down the fabric, and I'm going to just put glue over top and smear it with the tip of the glue gun over top of all the outer corner, the inner corner of the eye. Just everywhere that the white part of the eye is, but not on the iris. I mean, like if the iris is overlapping with the white of the eye, that's fine, go ahead and go over top of that. But like the iris that you've got cut out on the foam underneath, don't go over top of that. Because you don't want to glue the other iris to this one. My finger. Alright. Alright, there's one. Piece down. Now, and you want to make sure that your fabric is taut, like stretched. Don't stretch it out, but like pull it tight so that way it's not, you know, wrinkled whenever you put it on the eye, on the mask. Who wants a wrinkly eye? Not me. And like, you don't gotta push out a whole lot of glue, because you can push out a little bead and spread it about. So it shouldn't take a whole lot of glue. And that's another problem I've just now ran into. You want to be careful whenever you're drawing your eyes that you don't draw them too close together like I did, because you need room to glue. I mean, I still have enough room to glue on this side a little bit, but just barely. Just barely. So I'm going to take, I got my eye glued on there. See? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this back, because I shouldn't have taken it off. I'm not ready to take it off yet. And now I'm going to take my hot glue gun, and I'm going to go around the edges of the eyeball that doesn't have, you know, foam to glue it to. So that way it still keeps its shape. And I'm going to pull it tight still. I'm just going to make like a line of glue. And I'm not going to rub it in. I'm just going to let it be thick. Because I want to be able to have like a little wall of glue to, you know, just glue to whenever I go to the next stage of the process, which is making the 3D part of the eye 3D. Well, follow me, whatever. Follow me, eyes. And then I'm gonna get something to fan it off with because I want to be done quickly. Alright, so I've got to cut it out after I put my little line of glue on there. As you can see, there's like an edge now that I have to glue onto whenever I put the wall around it. So here's the eye. This is basically what it'll look like whenever it's in the person's head. Oh, well, I guess we could go and like, look, oh, hoo-hoo. Here's the eyeball. Here's what eyeball number 1 looks like. Oh no! Alright. See? There's eyeball number 1. Let me put my hand behind so you can see. Now, it's looking kind of dorky because we don't have a wall, but after we do it, it'll relatively look like this. Relatively. Not that dark though, because it's not going to be that deep. But, alright. Now, I'm going to do the same like this to the other eye, and then we'll move on to step 2 of this step of making eyes. Alright, so I've got both of these cut out and ready. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I'll probably make sure they're the exact same size again. And this one's a smidgen bigger. A smidgen bigger. So I'm going to trace this one. I mean, not trace it, but I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to put it at this inner corner and wrap it all around. So I got 9.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and measure to 9.5. Take my X-Acto knife and cut it right there. 9.5. I'm going to move a little bit over one more. Maybe cut halfway down this. Alright, so now I need I'm tired. It's not even late. Oh, there's a staple right here. Get out of there, staple. Alright. I'm going to take this and make that line straighter. Now I'm just going to go straight down. Alright. Kind of pressed it in a little bit. Now I'm just going to go over top of this hard. Cut that. Alright. Now I'm going to go straight down the middle. Alright. More here. More there. Alright. Put the cap back on it and not leave it in your lap opened. Now, I'm going to take the hot glue gun and we're going to glue it. Now find the inner corner of the eyeball. And we're just going to glue the edge here. Just glue it right on the edge, like a bubble. We're going to press this to it. And I kind of want to like press outward with it whenever pushing it, so that way the glue doesn't bubble up on the inside right there. Because, I don't know, it's not really noticeable, but I don't know, it kind of bothers me a little bit. And you don't have to put as much glue on the upper part where it doesn't have foam, because you've already put a big gob of glue there, so you can, if you want, just kind of get to the little melty. Alright. I got a little bit of glue on the inside. Alright, that's alright. Here we go. Alright, I fixed it. Alright, we are good. Alright, now for the bottom. The last stretch. That's been run a home stretch. Get out of there. Alright, and you always want to cut a little bit extra in length, just in case you're off by a little bit. Alright, so here's one eye. It'll fit in there like this. Oh wait, maybe this is this eye. Alright, there's that eye. Oh, it's not in there all the way. Let me put it all the way in. There. Alright, there's the eyeball, but also we kind of want to make like a little shiny spot. Alright, so see how he's got that shiny spot on his eye right there? We're going to try and do that as well, now that we've got this eye. So after I finish the other eye, we're going to use this to make the shiny spot. There. Alright, so this is the finished product. I don't have them glued in. They're not glued in yet, but this is what the eyes look like. And that's what they look like whenever it's dark behind them whenever you're wearing it. Actually, this eye's a little bit... That's crooked. And that's why I did not glue them in yet, because I want to make sure that they're, you know, the right angle and stuff before I glue them in. Well, yeah, that's how I make my cartoon eyes. I would pop them in, and then sometimes I'll glue them in before I fur it. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. These I'm probably, let me see, what does the reference look like? They have like a black outline, so I might go ahead and glue these in before I fur it, whenever I get them nice in the way I want them to be. And then because they're supposed to have a black outline on them, like black eyelids around them. And so I'll probably do that after I fur it. My Hyena's, I also got his nose. I just haven't glued it on yet. His little otter nose. Oh, can't hold it. Alright. Oh, that's that. Alright. There's his face. Yay! And I'm probably not going to do a furring video because I fur stuff the same way that I did in my other videos. I still fur things that way. But I might, I don't know, I'll make noses different now. I do not spray them with stuff anymore. This is silicone. I made a silicone nose. So it's just a little nose. I carved out the nose holes. And I got felt, or fleece, whatever, on the back. Right. If there's anything that I didn't explain in the video, just comment and I'll try to reply if Google lets me. I don't know why. Sometimes when I'm signed in it don't let me. Sometimes it does. But I'll try. Alright. Bye.